Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things I personally find intriguing enough for me to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application on this day. The music in the background is Everlasting by Ephixa and Jim Yosef, which I found on the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds, aka NCS. For links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar. Now let's get on with the show, shall we? Today is Tuesday, aka Tuesday, September 6, 2016. In 2008, Turkish President Abdullah Gül became the first Turkish head of state to visit Armenia. In 2007, Israel executed Operation Orchard, which was an airstrike with the goal to destroy a nuclear reactor in Syria. In 1995, Cal Ripken Jr. of the Baltimore Orioles played in his 2000th 131st consecutive game, breaking a record that had stood for 56 years. In 1991, the name St. Petersburg was restored to Russia's second largest city, which had been known as Leningrad since 1924. Also in 1991, the Soviet Union recognized the independence of the Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. In 1983, the Soviet Union admitted to shooting down Korean Airlines Flight 007, stating that the pilots did not know it was a civilian aircraft when it violated Soviet airspace. Do you smell that? It smells like bullshit. In 1976, during the Cold War, Soviet Air Force pilot Lieutenant Viktor Belenko landed a Mikoyan-Gurevich MiG-25 jet fighter at Hakodate on the island of Hokkaido in Japan and requested political asylum in the United States, which was granted. In 1972, during the Munich massacre, 9 Israeli athletes whom were taken hostage during the Munich Olympic Games by the Palestinian Black September terrorist group, along with a German police officer, died at the hands of the kidnappers during a failed rescue attempt. 2 other Israeli athletes were killed in the initial attack the previous day. In 1968, Swaziland became independent. In 1965, India retaliated following Pakistan's Operation Grand Slam, which resulted in the Indo-Pakistani War of 1965, which then ended in a stalemate and was followed by the signing of the Tashkent Declaration. In 1963, the Center for International Industrial Property Studies, aka CIPE, was founded. In 1962, archaeologist Peter Marsden discovered the first of the Blackfriars ships, which dated back to the 2nd century AD in the Blackfriars area of the banks of the River Thames in London. Also in 1962, the United States government began the Exercise Spade Fork nuclear readiness drill. In 1955, Istanbul's Greek, Jewish, and Armenian minorities became the target of a government-sponsored program, causing dozens to lose their lives during the riots that ensued. In 1949, Allied military authorities relinquished control of former Nazi Germany assets back to German control. In 1943, the Monterrey Institute of Technology, one of the largest and most influential private universities in Latin America, was founded in Monterrey, Mexico. In 1939, during World War II, South Africa declared war on Nazi Germany. Also in 1939 and also during World War II, during the Battle of Barking Creek, Britain suffered its first fighter pilot casualty of the Second World War as a result of friendly fire. In 1916, the first self-service grocery store, Piggly Wiggly, was opened in Memphis, Tennessee by Clarence Saunders. In 1901, Leon Gonzalez, an unemployed anarchist, shot and fatally wounded U.S. President William McKinley at the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. Maybe if there were jobs that could have employed them, he wouldn't have become an anarchist and then he wouldn't have shot the president? In 1885, Eastern Rumelia declared its union with Bulgaria. Bulgarian unification was henceforth accomplished. In 1870, Louisa Ann Swain of Laramie, Wyoming, became the first woman in the United States to cast a vote legally after 1807. In 1861, during the American Civil War, forces under Union General Ulysses S. Grant bloodlessly captured Paducah, Kentucky, giving the Union control of the Tennessee River's mouth. In 1803, British scientist John Dalton began using symbols to represent the atoms of different elements. In 1642, the English Parliament, led by Puritans, issued an ordinance that suppressed all stage plays in theaters. In 1628, Puritans settled Salem, which later became part of the Massachusetts Bay Colony. In 1620, the Pilgrims sailed from Plymouth, England on the Mayflower to settle in North America. In 1522, the Victoria, the only surviving ship of Ferdinand Magellan's expedition, returned to Sanlúcar de Barrameda in Spain, becoming the first ship to circumnavigate the world. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue from La Gomera in the Canary Islands, which was his final port of call before crossing the Atlantic Ocean for the first time. And in 3114 BC, the current era in the Maya long count calendar started, according to the prolific Julian calendar. This is the non-standard interpretation. Births: Christopher Nolan, 1965, Jeff Foxworthy, 1958, Leonidas, 1913. And that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. You may be a redneck if you don't look right left at every intersection, especially if you're playing Pokemon Go. You can also rate 5 thumbs and subscribe if you do so wish. Yeehaw! For your dose of past events daily, I'm Xander, and you are you. Toodles! In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue from La Gomera. La